Right now, three companies you've never heard of control $8 trillion. They own your hospital, your apartment building, your electricity grid, and they're making decisions about your life every single day. But the truth behind this will shock you. In the next few minutes, I'll show you the secret firms buying entire nations, the tax loopholes saving them billions while you pay more, and the alliance of billionaires reshaping global power. Let me show you exactly how this happened. For decades, we thought billionaires made money from tech companies or oil, but something changed in the last 20 years. A new industry emerged, private equity. These are investment firms that buy companies with borrowed money, fix them or strip them, then sell for massive profit. Sounds normal, but three firms took it to another level. Blackstone, KKR, Apollo Global Management. Combined, they control over $3 trillion in assets. That's bigger than the entire economy of France. They don't just buy companies anymore. They buy infrastructure, hospitals, power plants, water systems, housing complexes. According to financial reports, these three firms alone own pieces of over 18,000 companies worldwide. They employ more than 800,000 people across their portfolio. That's more than most governments, and they're doing it through a system most people don't understand. Now here's where things get really interesting. Blackstone is the biggest private equity firm on earth, $1.2 trillion under management. Let that sink in. They own Hilton Hotels, Invitation Homes, which controls over 80,000 rental houses across America, Logicor, one of Europe's largest warehouse networks, Traverse City, a massive data center company. But here's what they don't tell you. Blackstone doesn't just own these companies, they control pricing. In cities where Blackstone owns thousands of rental homes, rents have jumped 30 to 40% in 5 years. Why? Because when one company owns that many properties, they set the market price. Tenants have no choice. According to housing analysts, Blackstone-owned properties charge 15% more than comparable independent landlords. And it's legal. There's no law stopping one firm from buying entire neighborhoods. But it gets worse. Blackstone also owns hospitals through Team Health and emergency room staffing companies. When you go to the ER, there's a good chance a Blackstone-owned company sends you the bill, and those bills are 50% higher than hospital-employed doctors. They're profiting from your emergencies. But if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear this. KKR and Apollo are doing the same thing, but in different sectors. KKR controls $664 billion in assets. They own energy infrastructure across Asia, hospitals in Australia, tech companies in Europe. One of their biggest plays, buying utility companies, electricity, water, gas. These are things you can't live without, and KKR knows it. In the UK, KKR bought Viridor, a waste and recycling company. Within 2 years, waste collection fees rose 23%. People complained, but what choice did they have? You can't just stop producing trash. Apollo Global Management took a different route, $785 billion under management. They focused on insurance and retirement funds. According to leaked documents, Apollo bought Athene, an insurance company managing over $200 billion in retirement savings. That's millions of people's futures, and Apollo makes investment decisions with that money. They're gambling with your retirement, investing it in high-risk ventures to maximize their returns. If it fails, you lose your savings. They lose nothing. But here's the shocking part. These three firms coordinate. They don't compete on every deal. Sometimes they partner, share information. According to industry insiders, executives from Blackstone, KKR, and Apollo meet regularly at private conferences, Davos, Sun Valley, private islands in the Caribbean. They discuss market strategies, which sectors to target next, how to lobby governments for favorable laws. It's not a conspiracy, it's just business at a scale we've never seen, and it's reshaping how the entire global economy works. This brings us to the most shocking discovery of all. These firms have created a system where they pay almost no taxes. While you're taxed on every dollar you earn, they use something called the carried interest loophole. Here's how it works. When private equity firms make profit, that money is classified as capital gains instead of income. Capital gains are taxed at 20%. Normal income is taxed at 37%. That 17% difference saves these firms billions every year. According to tax policy analysts, Blackstone alone saved over $335 million in 2023 using this loophole. KKR and Apollo saved similar amounts. That's over $1 billion combined that should have gone to schools, hospitals, and infrastructure. Instead, it went into billionaire pockets. But it gets darker. These firms also use something called debt loading. When they buy a company, they don't use their own money. They borrow it. Then they transfer that debt onto the company they just bought. So the company now owes billions. To pay it back, they cut costs, fire workers, reduce quality, strip assets. According to research from private equity investigations, 30% of companies bought by these firms go bankrupt within 10 years. Toys R Us, Payless Shoes, multiple hospital chains, all destroyed by private equity debt loading. Thousands of jobs lost, communities devastated, and the private equity firms, they still made profit. They took out consulting fees, management fees, dividend payments before the companies even collapsed. It's a system designed to extract wealth and leave destruction behind. So, what does all this mean for us today? This isn't some distant problem. It's affecting your life right now in 3 major ways. First, housing. Private equity firms now own over 7% of all single-family rental homes in America. In some cities like Atlanta and Phoenix, it's over 20%. This drives up rent everywhere. When institutional investors compete for houses, regular families can't afford to buy. Home ownership rates are dropping. Wealth inequality is exploding. According to economic forecasts, if this continues, by 2035, over 30% of Americans will rent from corporate landlords forever. Second, healthcare. Private equity now controls over 10% of U.S. hospitals and 30% of emergency rooms. Since 2010, over 130 hospitals owned by private equity have closed. Most were in rural areas. People now drive hours for emergency care, and when they get there, bills are double what they used to be. Studies show private equity-owned hospitals have higher mortality rates and worse patient outcomes. They're literally sacrificing lives for profit. Third, retirement. Millions of people have their 401ks and pensions managed by these firms. You have no control over where your money goes. They invest it in risky ventures, take massive fees, and if it fails, your retirement disappears. The 2008 financial crisis showed us what happens when Wall Street gambles with our money, but we learned nothing. We gave them even more control. And here's what most people don't realize. This power isn't just economic, it's political. Before we wrap up, there's one final thing you need to know. Here's the twist that changes everything. These firms are now buying governments. Not literally, but through lobbying. In 2023 alone, Blackstone, KKR, and Apollo spent over $120 million lobbying U.S. lawmakers. They fund campaigns, write legislation. According to political finance records, 73% of Congress members have received donations from private equity firms. In Europe, it's worse. Private equity lobbyists literally sit in meetings when financial regulations are being written. They're crafting the laws that govern themselves, and it's working. Every attempt to close the carried interest loophole has failed. Every proposal to regulate private equity has been killed because the people making the laws are funded by the people being regulated. This isn't capitalism anymore. It's a rigged system where a handful of firms control trillions, pay no taxes, buy whatever they want, and face zero consequences. The map isn't being redrawn with borders, it's being redrawn with ownership. And these three firms own more of the world than most countries. If this opened your eyes, you need to hear what's coming next. Let's recap. Blackstone, KKR, and Apollo control over $3 trillion. They own your housing, hospitals, and retirement funds. They use tax loopholes to avoid billions while regular people pay more, and they're lobbying governments to keep the system rigged in their favor. This isn't theory, it's documented fact. If you found this shocking, smash that subscribe button. Next week, I'm exposing which industries they're targeting next and how to protect yourself. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. Here's my question for you. Should private equity firms be allowed to own essential services like hospitals and housing? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. For those who want to learn how to actually build wealth in this rigged system, I've created a free guide breaking down strategies the ultra-rich use. Link in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.